In the summer of 1518, a bizarre and terrifying phenomenon gripped the city of Strasbourg. It began with a single woman, Frau Trophäa, who stepped into the street and started to dance. Her movements were not of joy or celebration, but seemed involuntary and relentless. This solitary act quickly escalated into something far more sinister. Others soon joined her, compelled by an unseen force to dance alongside her. What started as an oddity soon became a widespread affliction. Hundreds of people found themselves caught in this inexplicable dance. They moved without rest, some for days on end, until exhaustion, heart attacks, or strokes claimed their lives. It was a medical and social mystery that defied all understanding. Strasbourg in 1518 was a prosperous trading city, a vibrant hub of commerce and culture. Yet beneath this veneer of success, deep anxieties simmered. The region had endured a series of harsh winters and devastating crop failures. These environmental hardships led to widespread famine and economic distress. The population was already weakened and vulnerable, living under a constant cloud of uncertainty. Adding to the physical suffering were pervasive fears of disease outbreaks. Syphilis and the dreaded plague were ever-present threats, casting a long shadow over daily life. Religious tensions also ran high, with the nascent Reformation stirring profound societal unease. It was into this climate of anxiety that Frau Trophäa stepped onto the stage of history. On July 14, 1518, she began her strange, compulsive dance in a Strasbourg street. She danced for hours, then for days, drawing curious and bewildered onlookers. Her movements were relentless, seemingly beyond her control. She showed no signs of stopping, even as her body began to fail her. The sheer physical exertion was immense. Reports described her feet bleeding and her body growing increasingly emaciated. This visible deterioration only highlighted the bizarre and terrifying nature of her affliction. It was clear this was no ordinary dance. Within just 1 week of Frau Trophäa's initial outburst, the inexplicable phenomenon began to spread. 34 other individuals joined her in the relentless, involuntary dancing. The contagion was rapidly taking hold. The number of dancers swelled dramatically, reaching an estimated 400 people. This sudden and widespread affliction caused citywide panic and disruption. Normal life in Strasbourg ground to a halt. The streets became stages for this horrifying spectacle. The city was gripped by a collective madness, with no clear explanation or cure in sight. Fear and confusion reigned supreme. Faced with this unprecedented crisis, the city's physicians were utterly baffled. They turned to the prevailing medical theories of the time, primarily the humoral theory. This ancient belief system posited that illness resulted from an imbalance of the body's 4 humors. Their proposed remedies were based on this understanding. Physicians attempted bloodletting and purges, hoping to restore balance to the afflicted dancers. However, these traditional treatments proved entirely ineffective. The dancers continued their relentless movements, showing no signs of improvement. The medical community was at a loss, unable to halt the terrifying progression of the plague. Their efforts only highlighted the mystery. In a desperate attempt to control the situation, the city council made a truly astonishing and ultimately fatal decision. They concluded that the dancers needed to exhaust the condition from their bodies. Their solution was to encourage more dancing. They hired musicians to play for the afflicted and opened public spaces, including guild halls for the dancers. Stages were even constructed to accommodate the growing numbers. The council believed that by allowing the dancers to continue, the affliction would simply run its course. This misguided intervention had the opposite of its intended effect. Instead of alleviating the problem, it intensified the frenzy. The public display and encouragement only led to more injuries, more exhaustion, and tragically, more deaths among the afflicted. As the medical and civic responses failed, the city turned to spiritual intervention. The authorities believed the plague might be a divine punishment or the work of malevolent forces. They sought the intercession of a powerful saint. The city organized a pilgrimage to the shrine of St. Vitus, located in Saverne. St. Vitus was revered as the patron saint of dancers and those afflicted with nervous disorders. It was hoped his divine power could bring an end to the suffering. The afflicted were taken to the shrine, where prayers and rituals were performed. Slowly over time, the intensity of the dancing began to wane. The pilgrimage to St. Vitus is often credited with the gradual recovery of the afflicted, bringing the terrifying episode to a close. The dancing plague of 1518 was not an isolated incident in European history. Similar outbreaks of compulsive dancing had occurred for centuries before and after. These events suggest a recurring pattern of collective behavior. Notable examples include the dancing manias that swept through the Rhine Valley in 1374. Another well-documented phenomenon was Tarantism, which afflicted southern Italy for centuries. These events shared striking similarities with the Strasbourg plague. Common characteristics included a predominantly female demographic among the afflicted. They also occurred within specific social contexts, marked by widespread stress and hardship. The 1518 event was part of a larger historical phenomenon. The period leading up to the 16th century was profoundly shaped by the Little Ice Age. This prolonged period of colder temperatures had a devastating impact on agriculture across Europe. Crop yields plummeted, leading to widespread famine. These environmental stresses created immense vulnerability and anxiety among the population. People were already living on the edge, struggling with food scarcity and economic instability. The social fabric was stretched thin. Overcrowding in urban centers, poor sanitation and stark economic inequality further exacerbated the situation. Religious tensions, particularly with the rise of the Reformation, added another layer of profound societal unrest. These factors created a fertile ground for collective distress. Within this tumultuous environment, women often faced particular hardships and had limited autonomy. Their lives were frequently constrained by societal norms and expectations. This lack of agency may have made them particularly susceptible to such collective phenomena. The compulsive dancing could be interpreted in various ways. It might have served as an unconscious form of rebellion against oppressive conditions. It could also have been a desperate, albeit non-verbal, cry for attention and help. The physical manifestation of distress offered a unique outlet. It allowed for a public expression of suffering that might otherwise have been suppressed. The dancing plague, therefore, offers insights into the social pressures of the time. Modern medical science offers several compelling explanations for the dancing plague. One leading theory is mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria or conversion disorder. This condition involves physical symptoms that arise from psychological stress. In such cases, intense emotional or psychological distress manifests as physical ailments. There is no underlying organic cause, but the symptoms are very real to the sufferers. The mind's power over the body is profound. Social contagion plays a significant role in the spread of such phenomena. Symptoms can spread rapidly through a group, often reinforced by dissociative states and group psychology. Modern parallels include the Tanganyika laughter epidemic of 1962 and various school outbreaks of unexplained illness. While psychological explanations are prominent, some researchers have explored neurological possibilities. One historical theory suggested ergot poisoning caused by a fungus on rye. This fungus can produce hallucinogenic and convulsive effects. However, the specific symptoms of the dancing plague do not perfectly align with known ergotism. Other neurological conditions, such as Huntington's disease or Sydenham's chorea, have also been considered. These conditions involve involuntary movements. Environmental factors like severe nutritional deficiencies or exposure to other toxins could have contributed. While no single neurological cause has been definitively proven, these possibilities highlight the complexity of the phenomenon. The exact physiological trigger remains elusive. In the medieval period, the understanding of such an affliction was vastly different from today. The dancing plague was often attributed to divine punishment for sins. It was seen as God's wrath visited upon a sinful populace. Alternatively, it was sometimes believed to be the work of demonic possession. Exorcisms and religious rituals were common responses to such perceived spiritual attacks. These interpretations shaped how society reacted to the crisis. Modern anthropology views such collective dancing not merely as illness but as a form of ritualistic behavior. It can be seen as a symbolic expression of profound distress within a community. The dancing became a public, albeit involuntary, performance of suffering. The dancing plague of 1518 left a lasting mark on historical records. It led to stricter controls on public celebrations and gatherings in Strasbourg. Authorities became wary of large assemblies, fearing a recurrence of such mass hysteria. The event also provided some of the earliest and most detailed records of mass psychogenic illness. Historians and medical professionals have studied these accounts for centuries. It serves as a foundational case study in collective psychology. The plague offers invaluable insights into how societies respond to inexplicable crises. It highlights the interplay between social stress, belief systems, and public health. Its legacy continues to inform our understanding of human behavior under duress. The dancing plague of 1518 offers profound lessons that resonate even today. It underscores the critical importance of addressing underlying social stresses within a population. Economic hardship, inequality, and widespread anxiety can have tangible collective consequences. For public health, the event highlights the need for nuanced communication strategies during crises. Misinformation or misguided interventions can exacerbate problems. Understanding the psychological dimensions of public health is crucial. The plague serves as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between mind, body, and society. It teaches us about the fragility of social order and the enduring power of collective human experience. The echoes of 1518 continue to inform our present,